Linton. A quiet town, a safe town. Until it wasn't. Detective James Harrow was its shield, a protector. He was known for his sharp mind, his relentless pursuit of justice. Harrow had solved every case, every single one, until he became one himself. He was a legend in the Linton Police Department. His colleagues admired him, criminals feared him. He had a way of unraveling even the most complex cases. He saw what others missed, he heard the whispers. Harrow's dedication was absolute. He often worked late. He lost himself in his cases. It was his life. He had no family, no close friends, just the job, and the darkness it chased away. The Wraith case had shaken Linton. A series of burglaries, no forced entry, valuables left untouched. Only strange trinkets were taken. A silver button, a chipped teacup, a child's drawing. The town was on edge. Whispers of the supernatural filled the air. But Harrow remained skeptical. He trusted evidence, not speculation. He meticulously examined each crime scene. He looked for patterns, connections. He found them. He always did. The Wraith left behind a clue. A single black feather. Harrow traced its origin. A rare bird, native to a remote area outside Linton. He had his lead. He was closing in. Then he vanished. July 15th, 1998. A date that would be etched into the town's memory forever. The night Detective Harrow disappeared. A storm raged, the kind that seemed to echo the turmoil that was about to unfold. Rain lashed against the windows of the police station. Harrow worked late, as usual. The dim light of his desk lamp flickered, casting long shadows across the room. He was obsessed with the Wraith. He had a feeling. He was close. He received a call, an anonymous tip, about the Wraith. The voice on the other end was shaky, almost fearful. Harrow left in a hurry. His coat barely on, hat askew, he dashed out into the storm. He didn't tell anyone where he was going. The station was eerily quiet, the only sound the relentless pounding of the rain. He drove into the storm, into the unknown. The rain was so heavy, it was almost impossible to see the road ahead. He was never seen again. His car was found abandoned, the engine still warm, but no trace of Harrow. The next morning, panic set in. The town was abuzz with rumors and fear. Harrow didn't show up for work. His colleagues were immediately concerned. This was unlike him, unheard of for the dedicated detective. His apartment was empty. Everything was in its place, as if he had just stepped out for a moment. No sign of a struggle, no note, just an eerie silence. The protector was gone. His badge lay on the table, a silent testament to his dedication, and the town felt it deeply. The sense of loss was palpable, a heavy weight that hung over everyone. The protector had vanished, leaving a void that could never be filled. Days later, Harrow's car was found. It was a 1967 Ford Mustang, a classic beauty now covered in dust and dirt, sitting eerily on a lonely stretch of road. Abandoned on a desolate road outside Linton. The road was rarely traveled, making the discovery even more unsettling. Near the area he had linked to the Wraith. The car was empty, no sign of Harrow. The forest around it seemed to whisper secrets, holding its breath. No sign of a struggle. The interior was pristine, untouched, as if Harrow had simply vanished into thin air. Just the relentless howl of the wind. Forensics combed the vehicle. They found nothing. The wind seemed to mock their efforts, carrying away any trace of evidence. No fingerprints, no DNA, no clues. It was as if the car had been wiped clean by an unseen hand. The investigation hit a wall. Detectives were left scratching their heads, their frustration growing with each passing day. Every officer was on the case. The police station buzzed with activity, but no one had any answers. They searched day and night, but Harrow had vanished, without a trace. The forest was combed, every inch scrutinized, but it yielded no secrets. The town held its breath. Fear crept in. The once peaceful community was now shrouded in anxiety and dread. The man who had kept them safe was gone. Harrow was more than just a detective. He was a symbol of security, taken by the very darkness he fought against. The irony was not lost on the townspeople. What hope did they have? The community felt a collective sense of despair, their protector now a victim. The Wraith case remained unsolved. It had haunted the town for years, a shadow lurking in the background, but now it was overshadowed by a bigger mystery. The disappearance of their beloved detective added a new layer of fear and uncertainty. The disappearance of Detective James Harrow. His face now stared back at them from missing person posters, a grim reminder of the darkness that had taken him. Section 5. Victor's story. A homeless man. Victor, they called him. He wandered the outskirts of Linton. He talked to himself. He saw things. Or so people thought. But Victor had something the police desperately needed. Information. Victor claimed he had seen Harrow on the night he disappeared. He said Harrow was arguing with a man, a tall man, wearing a long coat. The man had a strange aura, an intensity that frightened even Victor. The police were skeptical. Victor was unreliable, prone to flights of fancy, but there was something in his eyes, a glimmer of truth. He described Harrow's car, the location, details he couldn't have known. Was Victor the key to the mystery? Section 6. Whispers in the Wind. Theories about Harrow's disappearance ran rampant. Some whispered about the Wraith. Had the thief taken revenge? Had Harrow gotten too close? Had he stumbled upon something sinister? Something beyond human comprehension? Others spoke of a secret admirer, a stalker obsessed with the detective. Had they taken him? Was he being held captive somewhere? The thought sent chills down the spines of the townspeople. Was Harrow suffering? The most disturbing theory involved a secret society, rumored to operate in Linton's underbelly. They said Harrow had been investigating them, that he had gotten too close to their secrets. Had they silenced him? Was his disappearance a warning? Section 7. A letter from the void. Weeks turned into months. The investigation stalled. Hope dwindled. The detectives, once filled with determination, now found themselves grappling with the weight of uncertainty. Each passing day felt like an eternity, and the once bustling investigation room grew eerily quiet. Then, one day, a letter arrived. It was unexpected, a glimmer of hope in the midst of despair. The mailman, unaware of the significance of his delivery, went about his routine, but for the detectives, this letter was a beacon, addressed to the Linton Police Department. The handwriting was elegant, precise, unfamiliar. It was unlike anything they had seen before, almost as if it belonged to another era, a time when penmanship was an art. The envelope bore no return address. It was as if the sender wanted to remain hidden, shrouded in mystery. The lack of a return address only added to the enigma. Only a single black feather. It was an odd inclusion, one that seemed to carry a message of its own. The feather, dark and foreboding, lay atop the aged parchment like a silent omen. The letter sent a chill down their spines. The detectives, seasoned and hardened by years of service, found themselves unnerved by the contents of the letter. It was short, cryptic. It spoke of shadows and secrets. The words seemed to dance on the page, hinting at truths hidden just out of reach. It hinted at Harrow's fate, but offered no answers, just more questions. The detectives were left to piece together the fragments of a puzzle that seemed to grow more complex with each clue. More fear, more despair. The letter, instead of providing clarity, only deepened the sense of dread that had settled over the investigation. The letter ended with a chilling sentence, a sentence that seemed to echo in the minds of the detectives long after they had read it. "He sees what you cannot see." The words were haunting, a reminder of the unseen forces at play. It was as if the sender was taunting them, challenging their perception of reality. Was this a cruel joke? The detectives debated, their voices tinged with frustration and doubt. The possibility that someone was toying with them was infuriating, or a genuine communication from Harrow's abductor. The uncertainty gnawed them, each theory more unsettling than the last. The police analyzed the letter. Every detail was scrutinized, from the slant of the handwriting to the texture of the paper. The handwriting, the paper, the ink, they found nothing. It was as if the letter had materialized out of thin air, leaving no trace of its origin, no fingerprints, no leads, just more dead ends. The mystery deepened. The detectives were left standing in the void, their resolve tested, their hope waning. The letter, a symbol of their struggle, remained an enigma, a reminder of the darkness that still loomed over the case. Section 8. The Unsolved Riddle. Years have passed. The case remains cold, unsolved. Detective James Harrow vanished without a trace, leaving behind a void in Linton, a void filled with fear and unanswered questions. The wraith was never caught. The burglaries stopped as abruptly as they started. Was there a connection between the two cases? Or was it just a cruel twist of fate? No one knows, and no one may ever know. The case of Detective James Harrow remains Linton's greatest unsolved mystery, a haunting reminder that even in the safest of places, darkness can lurk, and sometimes the darkness wins. Section 9. Harrow's Shadow. Linton is a different town now. The shadow of Harrow's disappearance hangs over it, a constant reminder of the fragility of peace, the ever-present threat of the unknown. The case remains open, a file on a desk, a photo on a wall, a ghost story whispered in hushed tones, a reminder that some mysteries are never solved. They just fade away into legend. But sometimes on a quiet night, when the wind howls and the rain lashes against the windows, some say you can still hear him, Detective James Harrow, whispering in the shadows, still searching for the truth, still seeking justice, still lost.